Ain't shady, baby, I'm hot, like the prodigal son. Pick up Bartolini, Mini, Money, Mo, and Flower, you're the chosen one. Well, your left hand's free, and your right hand grip, with another left hand, watch his right hand slip, towards his gun.
Golden Crisis. This basically has two goals. One is to represent the ideal.
She got me with that Star Wars thing. I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't know they made a monument to that.
Yeah. I just get it.
The world lost its military importance in the 19th century. A lot of it was sold to build other things. Part of it was also stolen. We only have.
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Everything that's wonderful is what I feel when we're together. Brighter than a lucky penny when you're near the rainbows disappears dear, and I feel so fine just to know that you are mine. My life is sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. That's how this refrain goes. So come on, join in. Pops and rainbows, everything that's wonderful is sure to come your way when you're in love to stay. Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows, everything that's wonderful is what I feel when we're together. Brighter than a lucky penny when you're near the rainbows disappears there, and I feel so fine just to know that you are mine. My life is sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. That's how this refrain goes. So come on, join in. Everybody, sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Everything that's wonderful is sure to come your way. 'Cause you're in love, you're in love, and love is here to stay.
Alors Nicole, t'es derrière?
Oui, je t'en ai.
Ah ouais.
Monte là, ouais. Bah, je peux pas descendre. Je descendrai après, non, oui, je rigole.
Sick place to make basketball.
I know, right?
But if you lose your ball, you're
Yeah,
fired.
yeah, you lose the
If
ball.
you have bad aim,
Dead.
bye. You're never invited back again.
Everybody brought at least a rain jacket, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, look at that.
They're just yellow. Seasoning.
New Orleans. They call the rising sun. And it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And God, I know I'm one. My mother was a tailor. She sewed my new blue jeans. My father was a gambling man down in New Orleans. Now the only thing a gambler needs is a suitcase and a truck. And the only time he's satisfied is when he's on a drunk. Oh, mother, tell your children not to do what I have done. Spend your lives in sin and misery in the house of the rising sun. Well, I got one brother and a black one. The other foot on the train. I'm going back to New Orleans to wear that ball and chain.
When you came in, you cut me loose. Solo singing on my own. Now I can't find the key without you, and I.
It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site down there. It used to be all grape plantations, and the family used to grow grapes.
ask, ain't nothing please me more than you.
Alrighty, it is, that was it, 5:37 a.m. We are starting our PR8 hike. Looks like we're one of the only people here, so we'll see how that goes.
Okay, so it's a lot more windy and it's a lot more wet than we thought it was gonna be. Forecast didn't say it was gonna be foggy with all this rain and wind.
Whoa. Car wash. He's like
Keep my hands on myself. Go dust the moon. Little baby girl is in need. Am I coming out of left field? Ooh, I'm a rebel just for Kingston. I've been feeling it since 1966 now. sits there